There is nothing that the FBI did that was wrong in the Carter Page surveillance warrant, correct?
I think they followed all the correct procedures.
We found that investigators failed to meet their basic obligations.
But nonetheless, I think it's important that the American people see the actual facts that were presented to the FISA court and understand that the FBI was acting appropriately.
You did find that an FBI employee doctored an email in order to support the Carter Page FISA application, correct?
Correct.
I think the notion that FISA was abused here is nonsense.
Certainly our findings were that there were significant problems with FISA.
There's a lot that the FBI knew about Carter Page that had nothing to do with Christopher Steele's reporting.
We concluded that the Steele reporting played a central and essential role in the decision to seek a FISA order.
A lot more there than simply the Steele dossier, which is what the Republican memo would have suggested to the American public was the key element of that FISA application. That, of course, is not true.
The FISA applications relied entirely on information from the primary subsources reporting to support the allegation that Page was coordinating with the Russian government.
The court was told and given evidence that demonstrated the underlying political motivation.
Christopher Steele, is it fair to say that he had a political bias against Donald Trump?
Given who he was paid for, there was a bias that needed to be disclosed to the court.
It was all nonsense. And the FBI finally has its day with the American people, and I hope they pay attention to it.
You know, I think the activities we found here don't vindicate anybody who touched this.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. The Democrat Party, they are a party that claims to be against conspiracy theories, okay? They claim that any conspiracy theory that really is a fact, right, that comes from the right or conservatives or Republicans, they claim that it is a danger to democracy, a threat to democracy. All the while, they're the real ones that are peddling conspiracy theories that are a threat to democracy, an actual threat to democracy, as they attempted to overturn the 2016 election, probably with the biggest conspiracy theory of the last decade, which was the Russia collusion hoax. Now, all of us with a basic amount of common sense all knew that the Russia collusion thing, the Trump is butt buddies with Putin, Trump is getting pissed on by Russian prostitutes story that was made up by Hillary Clinton is fake, right? We all knew that it was fake, okay? It came from the Clinton campaign as a way to delegitimize the Trump presidency. We know that it was made up. However, that didn't stop the Democrats and the federal government from wasting millions and millions of dollars investigating a Democrat Party conspiracy theory. And Elon Musk just dropped new Twitter files that basically support the idea that, again, this was just one big conspiracy from the Democrats that they were making up as a way to discredit Trump without any evidence whatsoever. And the mainstream liberal media and the journalists who don't want to be criticized all went along with it, despite the fact that they basically all knew that it was bunk, right? Because Orange Man bad, okay? The real threat to democracy over the last decade has been the Democrat Party, no doubt. And I think that these new Twitter files right here is more proof of that. It's just more evidence that the Russia collusion hoax was just, a hoax. Now, again, we all knew that. It's like saying water is wet, but, Democrats are living in upside down world. So to them, water is dry. So without further ado, we're going to read about these new Twitter files and what they reveal about the Russia collusion hoax. Journalist Matt Taibbi unveiled part 14 of the Twitter files on Thursday, diving into the Russiagate lies and how he says a fake tale of Russian bots helped Democrats denounce the famous Devin Nunes report about flaws in the Trump-Russia investigation. Now, if you guys don't remember the Devin Nunes report, the Devin Nunes report was the report that basically said that the Democrats' investigation into the Trump-Russia investigation was bunk, okay? There was a lot of flaws. Basically, it was just nonsense, okay? And Democrats smeared him for this report. Emails and memos show that high-powered Democrats peddle a narrative of Russian bots despite being told directly by Twitter that there wasn't a connection to the Kremlin. The lengthy Twitter thread began with Taibbi noting that, quote, at a crucial moment in a years-long furor, Democrats denounced a report about flaws in the Trump-Russia investigation, saying it was boosted by Russian bots and trolls. Yeah, so anytime Democrats want to discredit something, they just say Russia. Well, Russia, right? Russia's to blame for anything that we don't like, okay? That is the Democrat playbook. He then indicated, quote, Twitter officials were aghast, finding no evidence of Russian influence, and shared an email in which Twitter executives appeared to inform Representative Adam Schiff, Democrat California, and Senator Dianne Feinstein, Democratic California, that the social media platform, quote, has not identified any significant activity connected to Russia with respect to tweets posting original content to hashtag release the memo, hashtag. Yeah. So Twitter basically knew that the activity going on the platform that the Democrats were accusing is Russian activity, right? It was being pushed by Russia. Twitter knew that there was no Russian influence, but unsurprisingly, they let the Democrats peddle this information anyways, even though they knew that it was false. Twitter warned politicians and media they not only lacked evidence, but had evidence the accounts weren't Russian and were roundly ignored. Of course they were ignored. Democrats don't care about facts. All they want to do is just make stuff up. They just make stuff up and peddle it as facts until it's eventually proven to be a conspiracy theory. On January 18, 2018, Republican Devin Nunes submitted a classified memo to the House Intel Committee detailing abuses by the FBI in obtaining Pfizer surveillance authority against Trump-connected figures, including the crucial role played by the infamous Steele dossier. Yeah, now the Steele dossier is the document with the alleged, Trump PP tapes, or alleged that there are Trump PP tapes out there with Trump likes to get peed on by Russian prostitutes. Again, that should have been the number one clue that all of this was nonsense. The Nunes assertions would virtually all be verified in a report by Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz in December 2019. Taibbi continued. Nonetheless, national media in January and early February of 2018 denounced the Nunes report in oddly identical language, calling it a joke. Yeah, because they're all NPCs. Okay, so as you can see here, this was the media, including just like Joy Reid, right? They're all saying it's a joke, right? It's a joke. Again, there's no coincidence. Again, they all act the same. They're all the same. They're all on the same team. Okay, this is the deep state in action. Taibbi pointed out that on January 23rd, 2018, Feinstein and Schiff, quote, published an open letter saying the hashtag gained the immediate attention and assistance of social media accounts linked to Russia influence operations. Quote, Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal followed suit, publishing a letter saying, quote, we find it reprehensible that Russian agents have so eagerly manipulated innocent Americans, Taibbi wrote. Yeah, so these people were just making stuff up. Okay, they were saying that Russian agents were manipulating Twitter. And Twitter knew that it wasn't true. They knew it wasn't true the whole time. Again, wouldn't be surprised is even the accusations about Russia buying the Facebook ads to influence black people not to vote for Trump in 2016. I wouldn't be surprised if that is a Democrat conspiracy as well, too. There's probably a 99% chance that it is. Quote, Feinstein, Schiff, Blumenthal, and media members all pointed to the same source, the Hamilton 68 dashboard created by former FBI counterintelligence official Clint Watts under the auspice of the Alliance for Securing Democracy, Taibbi wrote. Watts is an MSNBC contributor, but Twitter officials found no authentic Russian connection to the release the memo hashtag and informed Democrats as such. Yeah, so this guy being an MSNBC contributor means that he's a Democrat Party propagandist. That's what he was. Quote, inside Twitter, executives panned Watts, Hamilton 68, and the Alliance for Securing Democracy, two key complaints. Hamilton 68 seemed to be everyone's only source, and no one was checking with Twitter, Taibbi wrote. he then noted that then Twitter exec Emily Horn wrote, quote, "I encourage you to be skeptical of Hamilton 68's take on this, which, as far as I can tell, is the only source for these stories. It's a comms play for ASD." Yeah, so ASD is the Alliance for Securing Democracy, aka the Alliance for Securing Democrat Authoritarianism, right? Democrat control. Then Trust and Safety Chief Yoel Roth also warned, quote, "All the swirl is based on Hamilton," and other Twitter execs echoed that notion. Yeah, so even Yoel Roth is basically calling BS on this, okay? This guy is super anti-Trump. He openly admitted that he's anti-Trump, and when the anti-Trump guy is calling BS, you know it's BS, right? You know it's BS. It says here, all the swirl is based on Hamilton. If ASD isn't going to fact check with us, we should feel free to correct the record on their work, said Policy VP Carlos Mohe. Yeah, you should, right? But again, they're not going to, right? They're not going to. Roth couldn't find any Russian connection to release the memo at all. I just reviewed the accounts that posted the first 50 tweets with release the memo, and none of them show any signs of affiliation with Russia. When Twitter spoke to a Blumenthal staffer, they tried to wave him off because, quote, "we don't believe these are bots." Yeah, so basically, you're supposed to believe the Democrat Party propaganda, or else we're not going to take you seriously, even though they don't have any evidence to back up their claim. And they're trying to tell the people who own the platform, who know what's going on with the platform, that no, you actually don't know that these bots are actually Russian bots. We know. The Democrat Party knows, right? The Democrat operatives knows, but Twitter doesn't know. They don't know what's going on their own platform. Amazing. Another added, quote, "It might be worth nudging Blumenthal staffer that it could be in his boss's best interest not to go out there because it could come back to make him look silly." Well, that's only if you expose him. Twitter staffers tried to stop Blumenthal from releasing his letter to no avail. One Twitter exec even tried to negotiate, implying an undisclosed future PR concession if Blumenthal would lay off on this. Quote, "It seems like there are other wins we could offer him." Again, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. They're negotiating with Democrat operatives to say, well, if you don't put out this false information that Russian bots are, promoting this hashtag or whatever to try to discredit the Nunes report, the Nunes memo, then we might, cut you some slack in some other places. Instead of just coming out here and saying, if you put this out here, we're going to deny it and say that it's false, right? That's what they should have did. But again, Twitter was probably afraid of being accused of being a part of the Kremlin or working for Putin, right? Execs eventually grew frustrated over what they saw as a circular process presented with claims of Russian activity, even when denied, led to more claims. TB wrote, "They expressed this explicitly to Blumenthal's camp, saying Twitter spent a lot of resources on this request, and the reward from Blumenthal shouldn't be round after round of requests." Despite universal internal conviction that there were no Russians in the story, Twitter went on to follow a slavish pattern of not challenging Russian claims on the record. Taibbi wrote, "As a result, reporters from the AP to Politico to NBC to Rolling Stone continued to hammer the Russian bots theme despite a total lack of evidence." Taibbi then shared a series of headlines in which media outlets pushed the Russian bots narrative. Yeah. So again, mainstream liberal media here pushing a conspiracy from the Democrat Party, right? All of them pushing it as if it's fact, right? Twitter also discovered no Kremlin source for other hashtags that mainstream and liberal media outlets blamed on sinister Russian activity. NBC, Politico, AP Times, Business Insider, and other media outlets who played up the Russian bot story, even Rolling Stone, all declined to comment for this story, Taibbi wrote. But media organizations aren't the only ones refusing to speak with Taibbi. The staffs of Feinstein, Schiff, and Blumenthal also declined to comment. Of course they did. Taibbi wrote, asked for comment, Nunes told Taibbi that Russia collusion hoax was one of the greatest outbreaks of mass delusions in U.S. history. Facts. It was a mass delusion. Okay, that's exactly what it was. It was a psyop from the Democrats. And unfortunately, it worked. Quote, the Russiagate scandal was built on the craven dishonesty of politicians and reporters who for years ignored the absence of data to fictional scare headlines, Taibbi wrote. Twitter had no editorial input on this story. Searches were carried out by third parties, so the documents could be limited. This marked the 14th installment of the Twitter Files, which began going viral last month, shared by prominent independent journalists, including Taibbi, Barry Weiss, Michael Schallenberger, Lee Fang, and David Zwing. Previous Twitter Files have covered a wide range of topics, including the company's suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop story during the 2020 election cycle and internal pressure it faces to permanently ban former President Donald Trump, efforts by the White House and government officials to suppress content, and the existence of shadow banning of prominent conservatives. Yeah, so here we are. More evidence and proof, thanks to Elon Musk, that the Russia scandal was nothing but a Democrat Party hoax. It was propaganda, and it was peddled by the mainstream liberal media. They falsely peddled information. And it's just like stories like this, guys, is why it's so scary when you have the Democrats and the mainstream liberal media basically trying to censor opinions that they disagree with, right? Because they peddle their narrative as if it's facts, okay? And they are the arbiters of truth, when it is clear time and time again that they're just wrong. And they're wrong on so many things. In fact, mostly they're wrong. If you read something in the mainstream liberal media, you should just assume that it's wrong until it's proven to be true, right? I mean, that's just what it is at this point. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.